Okay, I've had to break this up into two parts here, unfortunately, at the moment. Right, so just to recap here, we've found the long side using 4 divided by cos 63, and we get 8.8 centimetres to 1 decimal place. Okay, now we could find this top left side here. Now, remember when you're using sine and cos, you can't go from this side here, the short side, to another short side. We've got to either find the long side or use the long side. Let's find the long side or use the long side. So in this case here, we've already found the long side. We know it's 8.8 centimetres, and when we know that it's 8.8 centimetres, we can use that. Alright, now we're dealing with the opposite. We're trying to find this side here is opposite 63 degrees. Use the side, the long side, and when we use that long side, 8.8 there, 8.8 meters or centimeters there, then we say sine to find the opposite side. So 8.8 sine 63. And when it's given to us as no divided, or okay, we already found out this side here. We're using the long side this time. We're not trying to find the long side. When we're using the long side, we do not use divide. We're using that 8.8 long side. Don't use divide. So we just 8.8 sine 63, and your answer is 7.8 centimeters. Now the missing angle over here. Once again, if we go 180, because it's 180 degrees all on the side of the triangle, we go 180 minus 90 minus 63 to get 27 degrees. So that'll give us our missing angle over here. Perimeter. So we've worked out the long side to be 8.8, and this side over here we worked out to be 7.8, and this is 4 here. So if you add them all together, we get 20.6 centimeters. Area. Now area is actually found, now if you can just think of just rotating this whole thing around so that this is a triangle that looks kind of like this, where you have the two straight bits. You've got across and up, the base and the height. Now it's not very clear here, but if you think of this 4 centimeters and rotate it all around, or rotate your page around so that the 4 centimeters lies flat. Rotate it around clockwise until the 4 centimeters is at the bottom. Then this side here will be at the height of the triangle. So we will have base times height. Okay, so usually you use the two sides that are right next to the right angle there when you're working out base times height to get the area there. So we've got 4 times our 7.8, which we figured out, divided by 2 gives us 15.6 centimeters squared. Okay, next bit, last one. Okay, this is quite advanced and quite difficult to figure out, but you've got an isosceles triangle. I want everybody to learn how to do this, learn the process here, and check whether you did the same thing with your own one with the different things that were given. I mean, we had 10 along the bottom, that was your question, and I think it was 25 degrees in here. Now you've got to split this in half, because when you have an isosceles triangle, you do not have any right angles at all. If we split it in half, isosceles triangles are symmetrical, so you've got the same on both sides. You can split this triangle in half, and you'll have 15 degrees, because we know ACB is 30. ACB, the middle letter is the important one. So C is 30 degrees. We split it in half, and we get 2 triangles, right angled triangles. There's a right angle at the bottom there, and the 30 degrees gets split in half to give 15 degrees for each triangle at the top there. Alright, now we can work with sine and cos to deal with these two right-angled triangles. You can't use sine and cos unless you have right-angled triangles. That's why we've split it in half. And notice at the very bottom here too, 12 meters along the bottom. Side A, B across the bottom is 12 meters. You're given 10 meters, mind you, in your question, but this one is 12 meters across the bottom, so it's going to be 6 for this triangle across the bottom and 6 for this triangle across the bottom as well. Alright, let's deal with them now, individual triangles that are in the middle there. So, we're trying to work out side AC here, trying to work out the long side, and when you try and work out the long side, you've got to use divide. Start for side that's given, 6 meters in this small triangle here. That's the side that's given, 6 meters. And then divide to find the long side. And notice that the 6 meters, the one that's given, is in fact opposite the 15 degrees. So we're going to use sine 6 divided by sine 15, and then you get your answer 23.2 meters. Alright, side BC is symmetrical. We've got B across here, and that one's going to be exactly the same because you can see that side AC is the same as that side BC. It's symmetrical, so it's like a mirror image. It's going to be exactly the same on that side. So this triangle will have a long side also, BC, of 23.2 meters. Now the angle CAB is worked out by going 180, because it's 180 degrees in a triangle, minus 90 minus 15 to give us 75 degrees. So that one there, A is the important letter, is in the very middle. Notice CAB. CAB is that angle there. Alright, that one is going to be 75 degrees. Alright, A, the important letter is in the middle of that when you label it, 75. And mind you, this one over here will be 75 as well, because it's symmetrical mirror image. Now the height, we need to work out the height in this case here. You do need to work out the height in order to work out the area of this larger triangle. We're going to work it out by going base times height of this larger triangle, the bigger one on the outside, isosceles triangle. If we can work out the height, and we know the base is 12 all the way across for the larger triangle, we can work out the area of a larger triangle. Okay, so we need to just work out the height. That's what we need. So if we know that this side over here, the hypotenuse, the long side, is 23.2 meters, then when we know the long side, we don't need to use divide because we already know the long side, not trying to work it out. And we're trying to work out this height here. Notice it's right up next to the 15 degrees that's given to us, so we're going to use cos. So it's going to be 23.2 cos 15 degrees. Make sure the angle is always at the end of after sine and cos. Hit equals and you get 22.4 meters for your height. Alright, and finally the area is worked out by 12 across the bottom, that's the base, times 22.4, that's the height we just worked out, divided by 2. And you should get 134.4 meters. It might be a good idea if you try out these ones to see if you get the same answers that are using the numbers that I've given here. And if you get the same answers, you'll know that you can do it and that you've definitely got the right answers when you use your own numbers. All you have to do is change the numbers to the numbers that you've been given for your questions. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.